The one and only car I was ever allowed was my dad's Oldsmobile, and that was pretty much dominated by Colton all along, culminating in his friend getting his first felony for stealing it because it was left over at somebody else's house when I told him to have it here at night. It was left there with the windows down and the keys in it, and so his friend stumbled upon it and stole it with the e-brake on, shredded the tires. It was a bad situation all the way around, and his friend got in a lot of trouble for it. Then, on Easter, my son asked for help, cried out for help, and instead of helping him, people shut me out and closed me off, even though Angel had just been posting to his Facebook. Um, Once again, wow, after 14 years, here comes Angel and her son just have Eric's back 100%. Isn't that a little strange? Especially when I'm her sister. uh, um, Seems a little strange to me. And then, of course, I'm sure Eric told her to quit posting because other family members would probably catch on. I'm disgusted and amazed that at least other family members have not already caught on to the fact that those posts were when they were, along with all the birthday posts since then. No mom, but here's Angel. My God. Anyway, so I tried to save my son when he obviously something had changed. And by the time we got there, Eric was monitoring my Facebook post at the time, and even though I kept getting this feeling where I needed to make my posts longer, I was afraid of losing contact with Nathan. So Eric must have figured out that I was on my way, probably possibly tipped off by Colton. Um, After Easter, he got the restraining order against me. The car, Colton had to take the car one night to the gallery. He When the car supposedly broke down at the Safeway across from Fenway Lake, which was not only near where Eric lives, but also where Lisa then lived. And that's what my belief is. As he brought her over here one night. She created a distraction while he searched my room, found the title, and he was going to steal the car, forge the title for her because she needed a car, and I refused to sell mine. When Eric went and looked at it at the Safeway parking lot, he said it had been vandalized and that the brake lines had been cut and the fuel lines had been cut. So, and then they told me that they couldn't find the keys to the car. Cause I kept saying, fine, it was broken down, not stolen. Give me the keys and I'll get a mechanic to go get the car. Oh, well, they can't find the keys. So my neighbor, he was how upset I was. Reassured me, Erica, we're getting your car. If we have to remove the ignition and put a new ignition in, your car's gonna get back here. Cool. So they went up there. He removed the ignition. Upon removal of the ignition, Colton's friend found the key mysteriously at his house. Why he had the key, I don't know. And the guy who said he would fix the ignition for me saw another friend of mine looking at the car and took this 180 jealous flip of, we'll have him do it. And so I'm looking at this car that has been torn apart. The dash is torn apart. The ignition's out. My ex is telling me the brake lines have been cut. The fuel lines have been cut. It didn't pass emissions last time. It's needing tabs. This is just a couple other problems with the car, right? So the person who had offered also to look at it, who made my neighbor do the 180, he was helping me clean the car, and I was taking pictures of it while we were doing it. So I got some before and after pictures, and I was just like, my dad would absolutely roll in his grave. He never let this car go below a half a tank of gas. It was never filthy. His granddaughter's pictures were behind his visor, and Colton had completely trashed it. Panzer, get back here, Panzer. So I think, I don't know if it was before or after, but the pictures were deleted off of my phone. In fact, all of my pictures were deleted off my phone. And I was very angry and upset about that. But the reason that that was done was to try to sell my brother on this fact of trying to say that I didn't care about the car, I don't care. And my brother originally told me he wouldn't buy me a car just so I could sell it, which I have never done. That has been Colton. That's why they wouldn't get Colton a car. That's why they didn't want to get me a car, because they knew Colton would be driving it because of my issue with driving. And that was why the Oldsmobile was put in my name only. And even though Colton kept trying to sell it as our car, I kept trying to point out to him that my family made sure to not include him on the title. It was not our car; it was my car. In fact, it was my dad's car, but he's like, it was my grandpa's car. Okay, fine, but he was my dad, and you were defiling the car that Oldsmobile was his thing. He was one of his proudest moments was driving a 1969 Olds off of the showroom floor. He bought it brand new himself, and that was a very proud moment for him. So when he went and bought that Oldsmobile, it was because he had come into a little bit of money, and I was like, you know what, Dad, go buy yourself a new car or almost new car for yourself. Do something for yourself. You do so much for everybody else. You got this big chunk of money. Go do something really nice for yourself. And he went and bought that Oldsmobile. So my son letting garbage and people use pop cans as ashtrays in the back and them spilling on the back carpet and them just leaving it like that absolutely infuriated me. I'm sure I probably have a psychotic moment tape when I confronted him about the condition of my father's vehicle. I said with these tapes, there's really little consideration to what is being said, only that I'm angry. And all that has done has given my enemies, my protractors, whatever you want to call them, fuel to, in fact, antagonize people into angry outbursts. Therefore, they can tape them and call them psychotic, because you're not supposed to, and once again, this is why tapes without the knowledge of the other person are inadmissible, because it's not just that the person changes their behavior when they know they're on tape, but it's the person taking the tape is motivation. That's in question as well. And this is exactly why, because especially that, I'd only change my behavior so much if I knew I was being recorded. The only thing I would have changed is knowing in those angry outbursts I was being recorded is for people to pay attention why I'm angry. And a big portion of my anger is this feeling of absolute having your hands tied, because if you get angry about being robbed, then you're psychotic. But if you don't get angry, then where is the motivation for them not to steal from you, right? So you pretty much know that the next big thing that you manage to acquire, you're either going to lose it right away or be screwed out of seeing your kids some more. It's disgusting, absolute. And this to me is insanity. This This is why these things have been debated in courts and ruled the way they have. And somehow my psycho sister and ex, by just tell you whatever crap you want to hear, has managed to violate my rights in ways absolutely unmanageable.